Hello Steelers Nation, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of the exciting updates about our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. We got some big news today, and trust me, it's worth sticking around for. In this video, we're diving into a detailed look at the players who weren't drafted but have been signed by the Steelers. As of now, Pittsburgh has a total of 90 players on its roster, and we'll be assessing each of them, providing insights into who could make the final 53-man roster. But that's not all. We'll also take a closer look at the rookies who've been invited to attend the rookie minicamp, where they'll be aiming to impress the coaches and secure their place on the team. Although these players haven't signed contracts just yet, the minicamp gives them an invaluable opportunity to showcase their skills. Before we get into the details, let's take a moment to consider this year's draft class. While the Steelers had a solid draft, it's always fascinating to look at the undrafted free agents, UDFAs, who have the potential to make an impact. The team has a history of finding gems in the UDFA pool, and there's always one or two players who defy expectations and make their mark in Pittsburgh. So let's start breaking down the new signings, starting with the ones who may face an uphill battle to make the roster. First up is DJ Thomas-Jones, a tight end from the University of South Alabama. Jones is an intriguing prospect, though his chances of making the team are slim, at least based on what we know right now. While I don't usually give grades lower than a C for undrafted free agents, since it feels unfair to label them as failures right off the bat, Jones has a significant challenge ahead. His path to the final 53-man roster will be a tough one. The Steelers have a strong tight end group, and Jones will need to perform at a very high level during training camp and the preseason to even make the practice squad. His size and athleticism could be useful, but he's not a standout by any means, and with the competition at tight end, it's hard to see him earning a spot. Moving on to JJ Galbra, another tight end, this one from the University of South Dakota. Galbra has a much stronger athletic profile than Jones, which is why I'm a bit more optimistic about his chances. Based on his recent testing, his relative athletic score, RAS, came in at a solid 8.4, which is impressive for a tight end. However, there are some concerns about his size. He weighs just 231 pounds, which is on the lighter side for a tight end. This puts him in a category closer to a big wide receiver than a traditional tight end. To make the roster, Galbra would need to either bulk up or prove he can be effective as a receiving tight end. That said, I'm more optimistic about his chances. Then Jones, and I'd give him a grade of B-. His athleticism is hard to ignore, and with the right development, he could surprise some people. Next, we have Ben Salves, a kicker from the University of Pittsburgh. Salves is an interesting player to watch, especially because he's left-footed, which adds a unique twist to the kicking game. He has a solid leg, and while Chris Boswell is the established kicker in Pittsburgh, having a strong backup is always important. Salves will need to show his consistency during the preseason and training camp, but it's a good move to bring in a local product who knows the city and is familiar with the culture of the Steelers. Given the competition for the kicker position is minimal, I'm giving Salves a B grade for his potential contribution. His challenge, however, will be demonstrating that he can be a viable backup and not just a camp leg. Now, let's move on to Rock Taylor, a wide receiver from the University of Memphis. Taylor is a big-bodied receiver, and his ability to make contested catches is something that stands out on film. He could become a reliable target in the red zone, offering the Steelers a potential weapon near the end zone. Taylor's route running and separation skills aren't as polished as some of the other wide receivers on the roster, which makes it hard to project him as a starter. Still, he has the physical traits that could make him an intriguing player to watch in camp. I would give this move a B grade as well, but the reality is that the Steelers have a deep wide receiver group, and it's going to be difficult for Taylor to crack the final roster. If he can show strong skills and contested catches, he might earn a spot on the practice squad, or at least impress enough to get a call from another team. Kahan Williams, a slot receiver from the University of Indiana, could have a bit more of an advantage than Taylor in terms of the path to making the roster. Williams was heavily used as a slot receiver in college, and while his numbers from testing weren't anything spectacular, he had a solid season last year at Indiana. There's a chance that Williams could shine in the off-season program, especially If Roman Wilson struggles to impress during camp, if Williams can make plays in practice and consistently show he has the ability to make a difference as a slot receiver, he could earn a spot on the team. It's not going to be easy, but there's a possibility that Williams could break through if everything falls into place for him. Aiden Williams, an offensive lineman from the University of Minnesota Duluth, is another intriguing UDFA. Williams is a bit of a project, and while he's shown promise, he comes from a lower level of competition. He's expected to transition to guard in the NFL, and his athleticism certainly suggests he has the potential to be a good one. His relative athletic score, RAS, comes in at an impressive 9.35 for an offensive tackle, which is even more encouraging. Considering the move to guard, while the Steelers have invested heavily in their offensive line in recent years, Williams could find a place as a backup or developmental player. Given his athletic profile, I'd rate him at an A-. He's not a finished product, but if he can develop quickly, he might find a way to contribute down the line. Now, let's talk about one of the more exciting undrafted free agents, a defensive player from Iowa. There's a lot of buzz around this player, and while it might seem a bit outlandish to think that a UDFA could make the 53-man roster, hear me out. This player has received praise for his instincts, intelligence, and his ability to read the quarterback. He's versatile, having played both safety and nickel corner in college, and his performance in the nickel was particularly impressive. His ability to cover short throws like screen passes was another trait that stood out. However, there are some concerns about his athleticism. He's not the fastest or most explosive player on the field, and his size doesn't necessarily fit the mold for a traditional safety or cornerback. But there's a lot of promise in his instincts and his ability to make plays on the ball. It's possible that he could surprise in camp, and with the nickel cornerback position up for grabs, he might just be able to secure a spot. I'd rate him at a solid B, and while I don't think he'll start right away, he could certainly become a valuable backup or even compete for the starting nickel role. Finally, we have Blake Mangles, a defensive lineman from BYU. Mangles has solid athletic metrics, though he's a bit smaller than most would expect from a defensive tackle. But the Steelers are planning to play him at defensive end in their 3-4 scheme, which could work out well for him. While he likely won't be a starter immediately, he could serve as a rotational player and provide depth on the defensive line. His athleticism is solid, and his ability to fit into Pittsburgh's defensive scheme is what makes this move intriguing. I'd rate him at a B+, and while he's not a game changer just yet, he could be a useful player as he develops. The Steelers have also invited a few players to their rookie minicamp, including Nate Matlock and Ed Rusher from Pittsburgh, who are looking to make their mark with the team. There's also Max Herman, a quarterback from Notre Dame, who has caught the Steelers' eye. Eddie Follner, a safety and son of the running backs coach, is another name to watch. These players, along with Carson Bruner, the son of a former player and current scout, are part of the exciting storyline surrounding the rookie minicamp. It's going to be a highly competitive offseason, and while not all of these undrafted free agents will make the roster, many of them will have a chance to prove themselves and compete for a spot. Who do you think has the best chance of making the Steelers' final roster? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates as we follow these players through training camp and the preseason. Stay tuned, Steelers Nation! But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has stunned the NFL world, Aaron Rodgers, the future Hall of Famer, has reportedly arrived in Pittsburgh to sign with the Steelers, shaking up the landscape of the league. Rodgers, a 4-time MVP, has spent the vast majority of his legendary career with the Green Bay Packers, but after much speculation, he is now set to join one of the most storied franchises in the NFL. The Steelers, who have long been in search of a true quarterback leader to take them back to championship glory, have landed one of the greatest to ever play the game. Rodgers, who has consistently demonstrated his incredible skill and precision throughout, His career will now be joining an offense that features some of the most promising talent in the league. From a powerful rushing attack led by Najee Harris to a receiving core that includes the likes of Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, Rodgers will have no shortage of weapons at his disposal. The Steelers' offensive line, which has shown improvement in recent seasons, will also have a chance to solidify its status as one of the better units in the league with the guidance of Rodgers under center. While Rodgers' arrival is undoubtedly the biggest story of the offseason in Pittsburgh, there are still several questions that need to be answered. Can the Steelers' defense, which has been one of the most formidable in the league for years, continue to carry the team in the post-Ben Roethlisberger era? Will the coaching staff, led by Mike Tomlin, be able to make the necessary adjustments to maximize Rodgers' talents? There's no doubt that the addition of Rodgers makes the Steelers a serious contender in the AFC, but they'll need to find the right balance between their explosive offense and dominant defense. The move also raises questions about the future of the Packers. With Rodgers now out of Green Bay, the franchise will likely turn to Jordan Love as their quarterback of the future. Love has shown flashes of potential in limited action, but this will be his first opportunity to truly lead the team on a full-time basis. How the Packers adapt to this major transition will be a storyline worth watching throughout the 2025 season. As for Rodgers, his arrival in Pittsburgh has sparked renewed excitement among Steelers fans, who have longed for a quarterback of his caliber to guide them back to the Super Bowl. The city of Pittsburgh, which is known for its passionate sports culture, is buzzing with anticipation. Rodgers will undoubtedly face a great deal of pressure to deliver immediately, but if there's one thing that the veteran quarterback has proven time and time again, it's that he thrives under pressure. The stage is set for a thrilling new chapter in the career of one of the NFL's all-time greats. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.